there are some logical sides of things about guns. We all should be able to have one and protect ourselves. There's also some logical sides on the other side where anti-gunners need to understand a few things that I think they're uneducated about. And there's also some things that the pro-gun side needs to kind of back off on or understand or massage a little bit different, because we now live in a world where, irregardless of all of the different contributing factors, which there was multiple, the kid got an AR-15 and went and shot other kids. 17 people died. That's a problem. Yes, it's rare. I know that it's rare. I know the stats on 36,000 a year, break it all down. I know the stats on how many, again, where's the 17 in Parkland fits in. And we broke the record last year with 57. That's something that to not address just because you feel like you should have your Second Amendment right doesn't feel right to me.
What's going on, guys? Time for a special episode of Behind the Uniforms. We are out here on location in Florida. Who are you and where are we?
What's up, everybody? My name is Kevin Reichard. I'm also known as the TACDADDY on the internet, so to speak. And we are at the Coral Springs Police Department Training Center.
Awesome.
Here in Coral Springs, Florida.
What brings you out here? You know these guys pretty well, huh?
I do know these guys pretty well. I've been friends with a few guys and gals that are part of the training division here for some time, watch them work, know what they do, and again, real close to the home and real close to the situation that happened down here.
So Coral Springs sort of on the map in the last year. For people who don't know, why don't you give them a little bit about your backstory and your relationship with the department? As
friends and someone who came here to help them film certain video projects, but also film my own type of content for the internet in the firearms world. So what makes this whole thing unique about Coral Springs is it literally goes right next to Parkland. And so I have two children that were at the high school, and a lot of the people that I know on a professional and training level were the people that directly interacted and responded that day.
As a dad, what was that day like?
Pure hell. It was brutal.
Holy shit is all I can say when it hits home like this. Every cop in the state is over here. I just talked to a kid on the side of the street. He said 5 have been shot. My kids are in lockdown in a closet. I can't get anywhere near the school. There's been a shooting here at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in South Florida. That's all the news and all the notes that I have. I gotta go console my wife. All I know is that I'm in communication with both my girls and they're okay.
It motivated me to deal with it personally over the entire length of the summer, writing a book about the entire couple months during it and everything since then, how this community has reacted to the whole situation, how it's affected every single family and every single person, and everything that's basically changed life for 3,000 plus families in the surrounding community. Before I tell you about my day yesterday, I need to tell you about Parkland. I need to tell you about why I'm in Parkland. My wife and I looked at schools before we looked at houses on 2 trips to Florida before we moved here. It was incredibly important to us. We decided to move to Parkland and get them into this school system that's noted. This high school that we're talking about is one of the best high schools in the state and the country. By all academic standards, by all club standards, the band's outstanding, the high school team, baseball team just won state championships. Everything about this thing is awesome. It's a small college campus. It's one of the dream communities growing up as a kid struggling that I said, one day I want to live in a place where it's safe and it's clean and it's, you live in a nice neighborhood. You just want to live in a nice neighborhood. Parkland is an incredible city with a lot of nice neighborhoods. Yesterday at 2:00 in the afternoon, I get a text from my daughter at 2:25. It says, there's a code red at the school. And I don't think our lives are ever going to be the same. I know they're not.
What do you hope the takeaway is from this? I mean, obviously, we've got a task force, Operation Innocence, that's working on common sense solutions to stop school shootings. But as someone with a family that has been through this, what do you hope the takeaway is in society?
I think it's twofold. I think the acceptance that real evil exists is the place to start, because it's been my experience hosting Gun News Weekly and talking about all the different school shootings, talking about all the different mass shootings and individual one-on-one circumstances with someone using a gun or a weapon to prevent or mitigate or stop a crime. It's those people that understand, and it then transitions to action. If it's never happened to you, if you've never seen pure evil, if you never understand what it is, you'll never get to the point where you react and change. It's just human nature. So I hope the biggest takeaway is that I can share my story in a way that comes from a unique perspective and shares with people that, yes, this can happen to you. It happened to a guy that's been talking about these situations, training like crazy, hosting a show, producing content, making sure his kids were well prepared and trained, had all the stuff in my car 2 miles away, traffic jam, couldn't do anything. And as I was stating to some of the training partners here, do I really want to be the guy that shows up, throws on a vest, and act like I'm going to save the day? I've trained enough to know that that puts myself in a really bad position. So the takeaway, evil exists. These things happen.
2 weeks prior to the shooting, my youngest daughter at dinner said, "Dad, we've got code red drills, this, that, and the other. What do I do if I go to the bathroom?" I'm like, "Talk to me." She said, "Well, if I get a hall pass and I go to the bathroom and they call code red, they're going to lock all the doors and I'm going to be in the bathroom. What am I going to do?" And I said, "Let's talk about it."
Talk to everyone in every situation, in every mass shooting, in every part of the world, and they'll all say the same thing to some degree. I never thought it could happen here.
In your book, you bring in some nonpartisanship to it. You talk about gun rights versus gun legislation, and you do it in a way that I think really sort of, although you may have your own personal perspectives on it, really takes an argument focused on logic. Talk a little bit about that, why you decided to go that route.
So right after the shooting, with all the information and logic and knowledge I have about how, again, there's FBI reports that state thousands of uses every day of someone defending themselves and the right to do that, it was hitting head on with emotion. At my home, myself, my wife, my kids, our friends, the extended community, it was such an emotional time. It still is. 17 people died. And so that emotional side of things is, I started to get a better understanding of why some people that have something like this happen act and demand action and react. And so what I wanted to do, well, again, back to what you were asking about the logical side of things, there are some logical sides of things about guns. We all should be able to have one and protect ourselves. There's also some logical sides on the other side where anti-gunners need to understand a few things that I think they're uneducated about. And there's also some things that the pro-gun side needs to kind of back off on or understand or massage a little bit different, because we now live in a world where, irregardless of all of the different contributing factors, which there was multiple, the kid got an AR-15 and went and shot other kids. That's a problem. Yes, it's rare. I know that it's rare. I know the stats on 36,000 a year, break it all down. I know the stats on how many, again, where's the 17 in Parkland fits in. And we broke the record last year with 57. That's something that to not address just because you feel like you should have your Second Amendment right doesn't feel right to me.
Sure.
So I want to address both sides.
What message would you want people to take away about the Coral Springs PD?
Oh. That's a tough one. You're talking about heroes. You're talking about people that went past people that were supposed to be heroes and did the right thing that day. Their training took over. They were properly prepared by some of the people that work in the Coral Springs Police Department that wanted to make sure in advance that the tools and the training was there. And what I would say is that that day, you can dig. There's multiple stories of true heroes. And so I hope that they get the recognition that they deserve, because afterwards, and again, without getting into the clash, it wasn't the Coral Springs Blue Police Department guys that were on TV. It was Sheriff Israel, because the BSO is who is in charge of Parkland. That's who Parkland pays to patrol. That's who's officer was on the campus waiting in the corridor, as we've now all seen on the videotape. Those people did not react. Those people ended up being cowards. They weren't trained properly. The Coral Springs Police Department did what they needed to do that day to save lives. And I'm convinced that they did save lives that day. People don't talk about the 17 that survived. 17 people died. 17 people got shot and lived.
One of the reasons that we do this entire series is because there's always going to be negative media coverage. We could talk about shortcomings, we could talk about cowardice, we could talk about all that all day long. That's not what we are here to do. We're here to focus on the men and women who serve and protect our communities and our country, who don those uniforms, who put their lives on the line every single day, and who are those silent heroes. So, brother, I appreciate you helping get that message out there. How can people learn more about you?
Absolutely. Check out awareandprepared.live. We do a live weekly show. The book is there.
Awesome.
That's the place to be.
And if you're interested in learning more about the task force, Operation Innocence, you can check out www.protectingthekids.com. So, brother, thanks for joining me.
Appreciate it, Kyle. Thank you.
Guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for hitting that share button. God bless America.